Welcome to the flow.
Hello, my darling. How are you? Welcome to a new Zentara Flow episode. I am Andre and very happy to see you here. Today, we're going to be talking about angels and archangels. I am very excited about this topic because it's been such a trip for me to develop this relationship. Actually, I'm going to let me tell you how this is going to roll. Right. First, I'm going to give you like a really teeny tiny little introduction. Then I'm going to talk about angels. Then we're going to go forward with archangels. And then I'm going to tell you real quick a little bit about my personal story with these beautiful celestial beings. And finally, I am going to tell you a few tips and tricks that you can use if you're someone that's interested in, like learning a little bit more about it, or especially starting to develop a relationship with these wonderful beings. Because there's like very simple stuff that you can actually do to open yourself to receiving help from these wonderful, wonderful beings. So let's just get right to it. And as an introduction, I just wanted to say, basically, as I do in every episode, to do your own research, right? So I'll be sharing the information that I've learned from courses and different literatures that are actually sometimes not agreeing exactly one with another, but I feel like for the most cases, they all in a very big way kind of agree in major pillars as to where, like their origins and their names and their colors and their missions, especially talking about archangels. But I'll deeper into that when we get to that specific side of this episode. Well, not side, part. And so just, take what resonates and what feels good to you. And if you're interested in the topic, don't just believe me. Go ahead and feel free to do your own research and find what feels true to your heart, to your soul, and to your being. Okay, so let's dive into angels. Basically, your guardian angels or angels are these wonderful beings of light. They're like an infinite ball of light and love that is here to be some sort of your personal concierge. um, Angels are like messengers, so their work or their purpose is to be like sort of a bridge between you and the source, or I call it source, I call it God, I call it divinity, I call it the universe sometimes, and we all have many different names for that bigger infinite source of love that I feel is the creator of everything that exists and has been and will always be. And basically, I feel like angels are like a very beautiful gift that was given to humans as a very powerful tool to actually go through this experience in a more loving, gentle, digestible way, right? Because let's be real here. Like being a human, it's not the simplest of things. It's actually quite harsh and difficult and tough experience at times. And help is always welcome. So I feel like the purpose of angels, of your guardian angels specifically, is to be that bridge between you and divinity and to have a helping hand throughout your human life experience. And basically, from my perspective or my belief today, is that before we incarnate into this human avatar of flesh and bones, we kind of make a contract, like our soul makes a contract that defines what we're coming to do, like what our name and life is going to look like, what our parents, who our parents are going to be, and like certain situations that we're going to live. And this is all aligned in according to the lessons that our soul needs to live, right? And so some people choose tougher experiences, some people choose a very light and happy life. And either way, every soul that incarnates into this earth has at least one guardian angel. I believe it goes from 1 to 9 depending on the life that you signed up for and the experiences that you signed up for. But basically, they are these beautiful beings of light and like limitless love that are, from what I understand, somewhere between the sixth and the 13th dimension. And planet Earth, has been for the most part in the third dimension. Now we're moving to the fourth and fifth dimension, which is a higher frequency. And so basically, what makes it easier for us to connect with our angels is to try to elevate our frequency, right? Like to live from love, from trust, from joy, with authenticity, and try to like quote unquote be living our best lives, because that makes it easier for us to kind of try to match that frequency, even though we might not get that high. But the higher we go, the easier it is to receive their messages. And this is not to say that you cannot connect with your angels if you're sad, or in a difficult patch, or in a depression, or angry, or frustrated. I think it's actually kind of the contrary. Like the harder the time is that you're living, I think that the most helpful is going to be to ask for their help. Like what I just mentioned about you being in a high frequency so that you can connect better with them is not to say that you cannot ask for their help if you're having a rough time, or if you're, again, like in a quote unquote like lower frequency, as anger, depression, frustration, depression, etc. I feel like it's kind of the other way around. If you're having a tough time, asking for their help is like the best thing that you can do, right? And basically, they are, as I was saying, like your personal assistants. They are here to keep us alive. They are here to kind of keep us in check, but not in check in a way of like, checking that you're obedient and that you're like being a good human being. More like just trying to keep us in the path of our contracts, basically, like making sure that we, or trying as best as possible, that we actually get to experience and live and learn from whatever we signed up for in this human experience. And so the angels are basically, this bridge between the human experience and the creator. And their job is to just be with you throughout your life, because they basically start taking care of you even before you're born, and they are with you every single day of your life until your human experience finishes. And I'll get to how to connect with them and whatnot by the end of this episode. But for now, I feel like the important thing to know about angels is that you have them, I have them. We can have between 1 and 9, depending on our life experiences. And their single job is to help you out throughout your life, to keep you alive and help you out in the best possible way. And when we talk about archangels, there's many of them, and there are many theories that talk about like where they come from and how they were created and many different things. But I feel like the important part, or the information that I want to share about them, is that they are, to me, they're like God's soldiers, to put it in a way. They're here to help humanity. They are here to help the masses, the collective. So while the angels are purposed for a very specific human life, for one person, archangels are here for the collectives, right? But that is not to say that you cannot ask for help to a very specific archangels. Actually, you can, and is highly recommended, to not only ask help to your angels, but also to archangels whenever you feel like you need, like, a heavier hand to help you. um, I'm going to tell you the names of the 7 most known or main archangels. And basically, they all have a name, and they're represented usually with at least one color. honestly, most of them have several of them, but there's usually one that is the one that gets more like correlated with a specific archangel. And most importantly, each archangel has a mission. It's like they're specialized in a certain area of what we call like the human experience, right? So I'm going to tell you their names, their colors, and what they are specialized on, so that if you find yourself in need of help of a specific situation, you can, from this episode, understand maybe which archangel is the one that you can ask for help. Okay. So the first one is Archangel Michael. This is like the boss of the archangels. I believe this is like God's right hand, and he's a warrior of light. He is related to, or often represented with, the blue color, and he is also the archangel of protection and justice. So whenever you find yourself in a scary situation, that you feel like your life's in danger or your well-being is in danger, go ahead and ask for Archangel Michael to come to your aid, to come help you and protect you. And even he usually is represented with a sword. So have him. You can even like envision his sword with a blue beam or with a blue light, like cutting through whatever is not, it's representing like some sort of danger or something, for like something that worries you in your life, and especially something that might represent a threat to your well-being. Then we have Archangel Gabriel. He's the messenger of God, and he is the archangel of communication. So his color is white. So whenever you feel that you have situation that is hard for you to communicate, maybe you have like, a tough situation with someone you love, with a parent, with a partner, with a colleague from work, that you don't know how to exactly communicate, and you feel like you need to be a little bit careful, or you don't know where to begin to actually send your message, you can ask for Archangel Gabriel to help you out to find the right words and to communicate in the best possible way, so that everything goes as best and as smoothly as possible. Then there's Archangel Raphael, and he is sort of the patron of healers. Like if you're a doctor, if you're a medic, if you're a healer, if you work with energy, chances are Archangel Raphael has always been with you and is there helping you out as well, because this is the archangel of health and of physical healing. So you can ask for help whenever you have some sort of pain, if you have a disease, if you have a diagnosis, if you have a situation that you feel is hurting your body, you can ask for his help. And his color is like a green, like an emerald green. So for example, if I have a headache, I always envision, like, I call upon him, I call for his help, for his presence, and then I envision like this beautiful beam of green light kind of in front of me, and then sharing like a laser light that comes right in the part of my body that I'm feeling a little bit unwell, and I just feel it like healing me. So that's the way I like to do it. That's the way that it makes sense to me. Obviously, just do whatever feels right to you and whatever your intuition tells you that is right. Usually, that's how it works. And then we have Archangel Uriel. Well, some in English, some call it Uriel, some call it Ariel. And actually, this is a she. She's an archangel that is focused on wisdom and creativity, and her color is orange for the most part. So whenever you need help making the right decision, knowing what the right path is, she can help you with giving you wisdom in when it comes to knowing what to do, or even again with creativity, like which path to take. And then we have Archangel Chamuel or Samuel. There's both names, and actually in Spanish is Chamuel. In English, I honestly do not even know how to pronounce that. So please excuse me if I'm not saying it right. But yeah, Chamuel or Samuel is the archangel of relationship, of love. It's such a beautiful archangel. And yes, I mean, I say love and relationships. I think most of the times we tend to think about loving like relationships or like with a significant other, which is the case, but it also applies to relationships with your family, with your friends, with your colleagues, with like within any type of human relationship, not exclusively like an intimate relationship. But you can always ask for Samuel's or Chamuel's help with anything that has to do with community, relationship, families, partners, etc. Even with self love, which is a very important thing as well. When you maybe have some self esteem issues, when you've never really connected with your true self love, try to ask for Chamuel's help. I actually worked with him for a very long time because I had very low self esteem, and I really struggled with my worthiness. So I worked with him for a very long while, and I feel like I quite literally got a lot of help from him in order to heal my wounds and be able to reconnect with my self love as well. And then there's another archangel that is called Jophiel. Jophiel, I suppose it would be the name in English. And she's the archangel of beauty, creativity, and wisdom. And then last but not least, we have Archangel Zadkiel, is the archangel of mercy and forgiveness. It's basically a very powerful archangel for transmutation. So whenever you need to forgive someone, they say like not wanting to forgive another person is like drinking poison and hoping the poison will kill someone else instead of yourself. And so if you need help with forgiving a person, a situation, ask for Zadkiel's help. And the color that represents him is the purple color, which is the color of transmutation. So this archangel will help you precisely like change one situation into something different, something more loving, something more light, from something heavy to something light. And yeah, to forgive someone or just to basically change a specific situation from a bad one to a good one in layman's terms. And so these are the main archangels. There's also Metatron. I mean, there are many of them, and this is why I invite you to do your own research and see, what you find and what resonates with you. Metatron is a very interesting archangel, and it's usually related to indigo children or indigo persons or indigo humans. And I believe most of them were born in the 80s. So if you're interested about the topic or you don't know anything about the topic, but it like kind of created an itch somewhere in your brain, just go ahead and look up some information because you might actually be one of those and don't even know it. But now going forward, I want to talk about my experience with angels and archangels, specifically with the guardian angels. So throughout my life, I had like ups and downs with religion and church and the institution that it represents and spirituality. And today, I just consider myself a spiritual person, and I believe like in an infinite source of love that is what creates us all. Um, But in the ups and downs that I went through with religion and my beliefs and Catholicism, which is the sort of the faith that I was raised with, I never doubted the existence of my guardian angels. Like I've always felt protected. I've always felt very loved. I've always felt very taken care of. So even when I was an atheist for, I don't know, a couple of years maybe, but even then I always knew that I had something or someone taking care of me, especially something of a higher power and of a very deep and infinite love. And honestly, I've had many, many proofs of their existence because throughout my life, I had had many different accidents of different types and kinds. And it's absolutely crazy that I am still here, alive, walking, and breathing because honestly, many of them I shouldn't have even survived. Like I had a very intense accidents with a quad. They're called quads, right? Like this motorcycle, sort of like a motorcycle that has four wheels. And then I had another one while driving a bicycle in Mexico City, which was just like absolutely crazy. Like I flew basically between cars and landed in the middle of a very busy road, and like all the cars stopped, and I had nothing but scratches and big ass bruises. But it was, I wasn't even wearing a helmet, which, by the way, please don't. Like, always take care of your body and your head with bicycles, with motorcycles, or obviously in cars also wear your seatbelt. But I've just had different situations where my life could have very easily ended, or the situation could have been like much more tragic than it actually was. And I don't know, some people might be listening to this and thinking, well, that's just luck, or it just wasn't your time. And I agree to a certain extension, but I don't know. It's just like an inner knowing, like a certainty. And honestly, I cannot give you more than like it might be like a very simple, or what's the name I'm looking for? Like a very basic explanation, if you will. And some people might be a bit disappointed by my explanation because there may be some lack of evidence, if you will, but it's just an inner knowing. And ultimately, I'm not here to convince you of anything, as I never, as like that's the rule for my episodes. Like, I don't want to convince you or convert you into any type of belief or situation. I'm just here to share information from my experience, and obviously know that this information can ultimately become something useful for your life as well, if it's something that resonates with you. So that's the whole point of this podcast and of this episode. And so, therefore, this is why I am approaching the very last part of this podcast in telling you what you can do to actually develop a relationship with your guardian angels and with any of the archangels that I mentioned, or many, like even others as well. And is that first of all and foremost, you need to ask for help. So basically, because of free will, they cannot intervene unless upon request. They will intervene if it's something that actually represents a risk to your life and to your well-being, in very extreme situations like the one maybe that I just mentioned, from my previous experiences and accidents. But usually, for the more quote unquote mundane things, if you don't ask for help, they cannot intervene. So do ask for help, do request for them to guide you, help you, share the knitting, like the information that is going to be useful to you. And another thing that I think it's important to mention is that we tend to think that in order to develop a relationship with our angels, or to ask for help, we need to be like on Mount Everest, or somewhere in Bali, or somewhere in Bhutan, on the top of a mountain, meditating for 55 hours and all dressed in white, and almost kind of levitating from the floor in order to be, in the right situation to ask for help. And that is not the case at all. Like, what I ultimately wanted to share with this episode is to let you know that your relationship with your guardian angels can be as simple and direct as the one that you have with your best friend, with your brothers, with your sister, with your family, with your parents, with your neighbor. So basically, just start having a chat with them. Start talking to them, start sharing whatever you're feeling, your concerns, your thoughts, your ideas, your funny situations. Like, it's literally like you have a team that is always going to be every minute of every second of your existence, they're with you. And they're just like, I picture them kind of like this. being like, well, one more day. That's 28 years now that she doesn't ask for help. So go ahead and just ask whatever you need, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling. A very great way in which I started developing my relationship with them, because even though I never doubted their existence and I always felt them very close to me, even from a very young age, I didn't really develop that relationship until I was in my 30s. It's only been recently that I started talking to them and being kind of on a more active relationship, if you will, from my side. And what I did at the beginning, which is going to seem so silly, but it's really powerful because I feel our mind really needs like little pills of evidence and confirmation in order for us to build a trust and the faith that they're actually like understanding that they are there and that they will come through when you ask for help. And the first thing that I did is I started talking to them out loud, and a very tangible way for me to confirm um, that I was being helped is through parking spots. With parking spaces. So basically, I would go to a supermarket or to a mall or to anywhere with like a very heavy traffic. And you know how sometimes you can just spin around for like 10 minutes and not find, not even like the farthest spot on the parking lot. So whenever I was approaching the supermarket, for example, I would be like, okay, so Garden Angel, can you please help me find like an amazing parking spot? And literally, like I would just go in to the best possible area, like in the entrance. And as soon as I started like turning around, there would be a car just leaving. I didn't have to rush. There weren't any other cars like fighting for the spot. It's always like so seamless and so easy, right? Like I get there, the car is leaving, I just go in like 2 seconds after they leave, and it's all like peaceful and easy and so beautifully, like ridiculously fun. So that's a very simple way for you to start like asking for things that will seem silly and will seem small, and they probably are, but at the same time there's something that it's going to help you confirm that you actually can ask for help, and that you will actually get it, which is the whole point of this type of exercises, right? And so just, start talking to them. Feel that you have a new best friend that you can confide with, that you can share experiences, your fears, your hopes, your dreams. And what I always like to do as well is not only ask for their help, but also ask for messages like guide me through this and help me throughout messages to figure out what you're trying to tell me. And most importantly, give me the wisdom to actually be able to interpret and understand those messages. And please also, after giving me the wisdom for interpreting and understand what you're saying, give me the strength and like the willingness to actually have the courage to take those steps, right? Because it's kind of like a three-part type of situation. First is asking for help, then is getting the message or the answer, like the answer of the question that you ask, and then is actually taking action upon that answer that was giving. Because sometimes maybe you ask for it, you get it, and then you don't take the next step, you don't follow the path, right? So if you don't follow it, it's like, okay, you got it, but you didn't actually put it into use, so what you're going to do with it anyway? So those are the three things that I always like to ask for, and I share them with you in case they're useful to you as well. And I think this is pretty much the end of this episode. It's just an invitation for you to start connecting with your team of light, with your angels, with your guardian angels, with the archangels, and ask for help, because literally you have the opportunity to receive help from an infinite source of intelligence. Like I always like to imagine myself as this very tiny human that has like a very limited view in front of me, like this much. And then when I think about angels or archangels, I imagine them as these like humongous beings of light that have like literally all of the intelligence that all of the universe contains. So why wouldn't I why wouldn't I ask for that? Why wouldn't I use that amazing tool if it's something that was made for me to help me out and to navigate this human experience. So if you've never tried it, maybe give it a couple weeks, a couple months, and give it a try, see how you feel with it. Maybe even you'll start noticing from a couple of days into starting to talking with them. And if you've always done it, and if you have experiences that you feel are worth sharing, especially for people that are might be a little bit skeptic that this work, and also if you have experiences that you've lived that, like myself, have kind of confirmed that they are here to help and that have helped you, maybe share your experiences as well, because it may be useful for someone that's kind of on the fence about giving this a try or not. And ultimately, honestly, I feel like if every human actually took advantage in the best possible way of that loving, infinite support with infinite intelligence, I feel like humanity will be we would be in such a beautiful and amazing place. Definitely in a much, much better one that we are in right now. Not to say that it's bad, but I just feel like it can be so much better. So thanks for being here. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you find something useful for your life and that it brings something good and positive and beautiful into yours. Remember, you're important. I love you. I thank you for being here, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.